In this tabletop review, we're going to be taking a look at a new product made by Olight. Olight is a flashlight manufacturer. If you've seen previous videos of mine, you've probably seen me review a couple of different Olight products. This particular one is the PL-MINI Valkyrie LED weapon light. Now this one's pretty much brand new on the market. And it's unique in its offering. This is the first type of weapon light I've seen in this type of configuration. This particular light has internal lithium-ion batteries, and you charge it with a magnetic by connecting a magnetic charger to it. So you can actually charge this while the weapon light is still on your firearm, and you don't remove the battery. So it's kind of a unique design to this particular weapon light. It runs for $79.95 off of Olight's website, and I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. The weight on this particular light is 2.19 ounces, so it's very small. The length is 2.41 inches, the head diameter is 1.23 inches, and the body diameter is 1.06 inches. It uses a Cree XP-L LED, and like most all of Olight's packaging, it ships in a very nice box. You've got some features, you have some specs on the back. The lumens output on this is listed at 400 lumens, and my understanding is because of the thermal circuitry built into this light, it will run at 400 lumens for several minutes and then step down as the light heats up, and when it cools down it will step back up to 400 lumens. The total runtime is listed as 70 minutes off of a charge. Olight says that with the included magnetic charger, this light can charge in an hour. I charged it in about 45 to 47 minutes by plugging it into my computer. It is IPX6 water resistant. And let's see, we talked about the dimensions, the built-in battery. The candela is 1400, in case you're wondering about that. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Obviously, I've already opened this, but put it back in the box so we could kind of pretend this was a fresh unboxing video. So right off the bat, here's the light. Let's just take a look at that first. You can see that this is extremely small. This bottom circular area is where you would connect the magnetic charger. Like most of Olight's weapon lights, they all include a QD latch, so you don't have to deal with Allen wrenches or screws or anything like that. Just flip the latch, put it on, take it off. There's also a crossbar on here. There's two crossbars included. There's one specific to the Glock rail system and the other one for all other Picatinny rail applications. We'll take a look at the rest of the contents, but it does include a Torx wrench to remove that particular item. I've got the Olight logo, and you can see the front of this. You can see how small the LED emitter is, but this does put out quite a bit of light. It is impressive for its size. We've got the Valkyrie logo and a serial number on the side, and of course PL-MINI. The controls function, this is a real simple functionality for this light. You've got momentary on and you have on. So if you want to do on, you just press down on the button and let go, and it toggles it on. Press again and it goes off. If you want to do momentary, you press and hold, and as long as you're holding the button down, the light's illuminated. As soon as you let go, it turns off. So real simple. I prefer constant on lights. I've owned momentary only lights. I don't like them. When I turn a light on, I want to be able to turn it on and take my finger off the button. I don't want to have to hold a button down to keep my light on. That's my preference. This light like the other Olights, has the best of both worlds. You can do momentary, you can do constant on. So they've appealed to both segments of the market who prefer momentary, and for people like me who prefer constant on. So great. The rest of the included components, you have a small instructional guide which talks about how to charge, and some specs. It's in multiple languages. You can also download this specifically from Olight's website in PDF form. So if this is too small for you, or if you want something you look at on your computer, you can go to their website and download the PDF version. Inside the package, you have your USB charging cable. So this uses a standard USB. There is no facility included with this light to plug it in and charge it from the wall. So what you would need to purchase separately is a USB charger that you can plug this into, and then plug that into the wall, or purchase a USB charger so you can plug it into your cigarette lighter in your car. I have both already because I own multiple USB phones and different types of devices, so I already own those, so it's definitely not an issue for me. I plugged this into my desktop computer. Like I said, it took 45 or 47 minutes to fully charge. The magnetic connector, this is a really nicely made connector. The cable on this is a flat ribbon cable, so it should be fairly tangle free. You've got some gold plated contacts here, and you can see it just kind of just goes there, and it's actually fairly strong. I mean, you can, you could actually suspend this. So, I mean, if you were charging this by itself and maybe it got knocked off the table, chances are it may not come disconnected. I mean, this is fairly strong, but, if I put a little effort on it, I can pull it off. Very cool charging mechanism. Works exactly as described. Good quality charging cable from what I can tell. The rest of the components inside of the packaging, we have the included Torx wrench, and we have a crossbar. This is the for the Picatinny rail. If you're going to mount this to a rifle or maybe another pistol that doesn't use the Glock type of cross rail. And it also includes 2 extra screws, and the screws are dabbed in blue Loctite. So let's keep those in there so I don't lose them. Alright, so like mentioned, you can use this on a Picatinny rail on your rifle, or you can use it for your pistol. Obviously designed for pistol use. In my previous video where I reviewed the PL-2 Valkyrie, right here, you saw me mount this to a Picatinny rail on a rifle. So it's definitely very usable on a rifle. Now, before we get on to installing this on a pistol, I just want to take a look, show you the size difference between their PL-2 and the PL-MINI. You can see there is a substantial size difference. Now, do keep in mind that the PL-2 Valkyrie, this is a 1200 lumen light that runs off of 2 CR123 batteries. It's a different design, and it definitely is bulkier because of the enhanced light output. Now, if you have a small frame gun or a gun with a small Picatinny rail, something like the PL-2 right here, this is probably going to stick out past your barrel because this is a fairly decent light. The PL-2 Mini might be more in line for the smaller frame guns like the Glock 19 and the M&P, Smith & Wesson M&P Compact, and so on. So, you've got definitely some different light output options and some different light outputs or light options. Now, what we're going to do here, just for reference purposes, is we're going to put this on this Smith & Wesson. We should be able to get this fitted right about there, I do believe, and just tighten it down. So pretty simple. So you can see on this Smith & Wesson right here, It's actually does not stick out past the end of the barrel. If I reach my trigger finger out, I can reach the switch. That's a bit of a stress or a stretch for my particular hand. I have a small hand. This is a fairly full frame Smith & Wesson. By the way, this is not a real firearm. This is a rubber prop. And why am I using a rubber prop? Well, I actually do not own a carry pistol that has a Picatinny rail on it. All of my pistols are compact or subcompacts, and they don't have Picatinny rails. I do own a Glock 19, but it's a second gen, so no Picatinny rail on that either. So this is a prop gun, so don't get freaked out about that. If I put my finger on the trigger, it is rubber and it is solid. You can see there's not even a cutout for the barrel. So this wouldn't normally be a gun that I would purchase for carry because the controls, you can see I can't really even reach the slide release with my thumb. This is obviously a firearm designed for people with larger hands. But you can see how it fits on this particular gun. I can reach this without really adjusting my grip. I can reach the button. It is a bit of a stretch, not that comfortable. If I had the compact version, it'd probably be a much better fit for my hand. But anyway, enough of that. I like the size of this. I like the weight of it. The fit and finish and the construction of this light is typical for Olight. Very high quality. The warranty on this, I do believe, it's got a 5-year warranty on it. And I also did some inquiries about the shelf life of these batteries. So if you have a bedside gun that's for home protection and you have this type of weapon light on it, the shelf life for these batteries fully charged is about a year. But Olight does recommend that you top it up or recharge the light every couple of months. Let's see. See if there's any other talking points I have that I haven't already touched on. The built-in lithium polymer battery is a 960 milliamp battery. Now, I have not discovered a way to access the batteries. They don't give instructions for that. They don't recommend it. And I have not tried to disassemble this in fear of voiding the warranty. So it's not a user serviceable item, the lithium ion batteries. I'm assuming that these bolts right here probably would disassemble this light to give access to the batteries. But since they're not designed to be end user replaceable, they might be hardwired in. I don't know, and I have not tried to take this apart. Let's see. The light also includes a low power warning indicator to let you know that the power is getting low. Although I do think you'll notice that, because as the power starts to get low, the light starts to get dimmer and dimmer. Even after the thermal circuitry kicks on and it drops the light output from 400 lumens down, you'll really know when the batteries are starting to get low on this. Let's see. The beam distance is listed at 246 feet or 75 meters. The candela is 1400, like mentioned. It does have a standard hotspot diameter, which basically the way this reflector is designed, you get a hotspot in the center of the beam, and that's typical for a lot of lights. It's not, the beam is tightly focused, but you do have a hotspot in the center. Just going through my talking notes here, I want to make sure I talk about all of the options. There is no flashing light option. I do believe I covered the two options. And those are all the talking points. So before I put this on the gun and we kind of take a look at it in a low light scenario, I'll just wrap up by saying I really am impressed with this. I like the magnetic charger. I think we're going to be seeing more of that style of charging mechanism in the future, where you don't have a charging plug to plug a cable in or out. And that's a good thing. Items that have a charging port, even like your cell phone, you're putting a cable in, taking it out, putting it in, taking it out, putting it in, and you're pushing on it. That charging port a lot of times is soldered onto a circuit board. And by putting something into it and pushing and pulling out, pushing, pulling out, you rock it back and forth, and eventually the contacts of the circuit board break. That's really typical in the computer field with plug-in ports on laptop computers. That's one of the big failure points, either with the power plug or the USB ports, is those contacts breaking away from the circuit board. And I've seen that on a lot of cell phones as well. So it's nice to see Olight move away from that type of archaic design and move towards futuristic charging options. I mean, next thing you know, we're going to have wireless charging. You just set your Firearm with your light on it near your charging plate, or you set it on a charging plate and it'll charge it. So when you come home and you pull out your EDC gun, you set the whole gun in the holster on the charging plate and it charges the light overnight. I mean, that's where we're going. I mean, and I can't see that being too far away. So very cool. I like the small size and I like the small weight of it. Going back to the PL-2 Valkyrie, I like this light, but this light is substantially heavier. It's, 4.2 ounces. It's twice the weight. And if you take a look at this mounted on this Smith right here, let's get this on here real quick. You can see that I still got, easy access to the buttons, but this does stick out a lot further from the muzzle. And this could definitely cause problems with some types of holsters because of the extra length. So you've got to have a holster that's designed to accommodate the extra length of a light like this. So having something that actually is shorter than the length of your barrel is great. So I think that would make fitting this to a holster a lot easier. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and reposition the camera and dim the lights a little bit so we can kind of take a look at the light output of this. Okay, I've got the camera repositioned in my workshop here, pointing up at the ceiling, basically so I can kind of have a semi-white, or, well, it's not white, but it's kind of a beige backdrop with minimal interference. So we can just kind of, take a look at the PL2 or the PL-MINI Valkyrie and kind of get an idea of what the light pattern looks like. So you can see we've got a pretty wide beam, and what you're primarily seeing is the large hotspot. I mean, there is illumination out to the sides of that, which is typical. I mean, the wide illumination, you're seeing the hotspot, but the illumination goes way past the sides of the garage. You can kind of see, if I move that down, you can kind of get an idea where the end of the illumination pattern is. See, it's pretty wide. So outside, you get a lot of illumination to the left, to the right, to the top, and the bottom. And then you've got the large hotspot right in the center. And I am holding on to the light. It's not actually mounted to the Firearm. Holding on to it with my hand. It is getting a little bit warm, and I'm assuming after another minute or so, it's probably going to the thermal circuitry will probably step the light output down. But in comparison, if you want to take a look at the PL2 Mini, which is being shown now, and then we take a look at the PL2 Valkyrie, you can see that the PL2 Valkyrie is on the right. You can see it. The light output is substantially higher. So obviously 400 lumens versus 1200 lumens, and the PL-MINI, as I believe, is already dimmed, so it's not even putting out 400 lumens now. But both lights operate off of the same type of thermal circuitry. They will run for a set period of time before the thermal circuitry dims the light output, so they both function the same way. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this tabletop review, test fit, and light demonstration of the PL-MINI weapon light made by Olight. Again, check the link in the description. You can go to their website and you can download the user manual and read up some more on the specs if you want to know more.